Hi, I'm Maggie Cowton, and I was a part of the New Student Dialogue Are You There Guide, the dialogue that was dealing with religion and faith in a college campus and talking about different faiths, um, clearing up some things that we may misunderstand by actually conversing with students who are a part of a certain faith, things like that. Um, so I feel like our group achieved a really good dialogue. After getting warmed up, the beginning of our dialogue was a little odd because we were dealing with sort of abstract subject matter. We actually started talking about what dialogue was and how it was different from discussion and debate, and it was kind of a strange thing to actually dialogue about dialogue, and so our group kind of got tripped up by that and was, I think, pretty anxious to get to religion and faith and talking about that. While it was necessary for us to understand what a healthy dialogue was and how we were to go about this and respect others, it was a little drawn out. So we kind of were ready to get that over with. But once we actually dove into the discussion on religion and faith and went through a bunch of major religions that we see on college campuses every day, things got much better. Students were willing to share about their experiences and willing to identify with a specific faith and clear up a lot of things that we misunderstand about things outside of our own belief systems. What we did was hang up a bunch of different religions on a piece of paper and write down all of the stereotypes that a lot of people project on these faiths. And it was really interesting to see the stereotypes that we just thought of right off the bat. And the most vocal students in this dialogue, I think, were the people who saw those stereotypes and had experiences to share that kind of debunked those stereotypes and cleared up a lot of things that people were seeing that weren't actually true of that particular faith. There were a lot of people who identified themselves as Christians in our group, but we had some Jewish people as well as some atheists who definitely had a lot to share, just personal experiences that in itself cleared up a lot of things that we misunderstood about theology or just what those people believe. And it was a healthy way of doing it. I've never really been a part of a religious discussion that went so well. And I attribute that to our discussion about having a respectful dialogue beforehand, however much of a struggle that was at first. But we had a really healthy discussion about a lot of things that people misunderstood. Even some of the Christians in the room were able to debunk some of the misunderstandings about our faith. I myself identify myself as a Christian, and I felt like I had a really healthy environment to share my experiences in and clarify a lot of things that I felt a lot of people were seeing that weren't true of my faith. We brought up radical hate groups in pretty much every faith and just how they get the most publicity, and everyone was able to kind of agree that there were people out there from each faith that certainly don't identify with those hate groups and actually live out a really respectable and honorable kind of faith. The least vocal people, I don't really know how to identify them, but I think the least vocal people might be the people who are a little bit more shy about sharing their faith beliefs. But I feel like most everyone spoke in our dialogue. I think everybody became really comfortable. It was a really comfortable environment. And from the beginning, we wanted the environment to be relaxed, easy to speak out in, and I didn't feel judged, or I never felt uncomfortable to talk. I didn't feel like anybody else was all that uncomfortable either. Really, after the beginning and really diving into the discussion on religion and faith, everyone really opened up, and that was extremely impressive to me. So basically, I feel like we achieved a really good dialogue. I learned a lot. I think we did this dialogue so that everyone could understand how to function on a college campus when you know that there's all these people around you that have different faith than you. how to handle that, how to discuss that with other people and respect that, so that everyone can kind of live in harmony on this college campus and work together, rather than focusing on our differences, focusing on the common things in our faith that could really unite us and help us out. Um, it's also important just having this model of dialogue, and just kind of having this sort of exercise. And we talked about faith, but just the dialogue itself was a great exercise to bring into the classroom. There's going to be plenty of situations in any class where we might have to discuss touchy issues or just discuss anything in general, and be able to do that successfully. And I think this dialogue was a great exercise in that, and just how to be able to talk about something and try and reach an understanding about something without having to debate or do anything that sort of polarizes the classroom, but actually enlightens everyone. So I really enjoyed it. I think it went really well. The 2 hours we were in there went by really fast because the discussion really did become very full and consistent. So I definitely benefited from this dialogue, both in the subject matter and just the overall practice of dialoguing with other students. So